Hey there, I'm Emgris, I'm from Russia, and last Sunday I had a 1-year anniversary because just 1 year ago I moved to St. Petersburg. I normally don't remember these dates like 1 month anniversary or 1 year relationship anniversary, all this stuff. But probably I've never dreamt of any relationship for 11 years, and this is the case that happened with St. Petersburg. So I think that's quite the point. So some of you know that I used to live in Moscow and now I live in St. Petersburg, and I decided to tell you guys about those two big cities. Actually right now in Moscow, in a traffic jam, and that's mostly what Moscow is about. So you can't see such huge traffic jams in St. Petersburg, because I actually think that traffic there is really nice, and if you get stuck somewhere it's rarely more than 15 minutes. And here I've been standing for about maybe 30 minutes and nothing is really happening. Some of you know that I used to study in Moscow. I was born in Samara and I graduated from school there, but then I decided to move to either Moscow or St. Petersburg. I was already in love with St. Petersburg at that time, but it happened that in Moscow I didn't have to live in a dorm, and I had an opportunity to live in a flat on my own, and this was quite a valid reason. That's why I moved to Moscow. I don't like it since then. So when you come to Moscow and just for traveling, for tourism, or for some business trips, you see the beauty of the city, you see how much it has changed during recent years. If you live here, all you see is traffic jams, metro, lots of really tired people, and basically that's all. People usually say that in Moscow people hustling really hard. In St. Petersburg they work a lot, and in some regions they do something. There are several reasons for this. First of all, Moscow is it's a capital. It's both financial, political, not cultural, because the cultural capital is St. Petersburg. The rest is in Moscow. And of course, in Moscow, budgets are bigger. A lot of companies have their headquarters, like all the international ones, huge local ones. Companies try to move their headquarters to St. Petersburg because it's cheaper and you should diversify your country. But that doesn't actually work this way. If we compare Moscow, St. Petersburg and like the rest of the country, it actually feels in the whole atmosphere, and it feels in the whole like speed of life. In Moscow everything is really hectic, crazy, and people just try to live through their day. In St. Petersburg it's a bit more relaxed, and in decent regions people are really chilled, relaxed, and they don't care that much. And for example, you can see this in a really common thing. So you know, when you need to get in the metro, you should use a token or a card. You should put it to the validator and then you can go inside. So basically in Moscow this happens just in seconds. So you just put it there and you can go. In St. Petersburg this whole process takes a little more time, like several seconds more. That's still okay, but in Samara you have to wait, and it seems like forever. I know that it's probably like maybe 5-7 seconds, but after Moscow, when every second counts, it just drives me crazy. St. Petersburg is the cultural capital, as they say. This actually means a lot, I think. At least I feel this. I have this really peculiar story that I wanted to share with you. In year 2010, I was applying to universities, first in Moscow and then in St. Petersburg. And during that summer it was really nasty weather. It was extremely hot. This heat was just unbearable. There was also some smog, and the forests around Moscow were burning. So it was really difficult to breathe and just to get through the day. And people don't usually bother about dressing up in Moscow. I don't care basically how are people dressed, but I still believe that there are certain rules of how you should be dressed in public. And in Moscow at that time, guys going in the metro wearing just flip-flops and also like shorts that looked more like some swimming shorts. And I don't think it's okay. And when I came to St. Petersburg, the first person whom I see in the metro was a really old lady, and she was dressed in a dress and she had some heels on. Although in St. Petersburg the weather was almost the same as in Moscow. But also St. Petersburg has got this vibe of creativity and artistic youth. Because if someone wants to get famous being a rock star, a painter, a writer, they will probably come to St. Petersburg. In this way it resembles a little bit LA. I've never been there, but in this case I think they a bit like each other. But if you've been to LA, tell me if I'm right or not. So in St. Petersburg you'll see lots of bands playing on the streets, generally a lot of young people. Have you got any questions about Russia? Leave them in the comments below. And also subscribe to my channel and also to my social media, links in the description below. Sorry about this a bit messy thing, but this is what Moscow is about. You just have to make the best out of the time you have. See ya!